Lesley Reyes is born and raised right here in Kansas City. Passion, culture, and chingona is how we would best describe Lesley after this conversation. Lesley moved away after high school and lived in Chicago, Los Angeles, and then Phoenix before coming back home to KC. In 2020, during the COVID pandemic, she and her husband, whom she calls Panchito, developed the idea of a Mexican coffee shop. Now, in business going on 5 years, Cafe Ollama is part of the fabric of Kansas City. Mexican coffee developed with family and community in mind. We sit with Lesley to discuss her story, the story of Cafe Ollama, the recent BLVD Brewery collaboration, and so much more. This is Enterrupt KC. Enjoy this episode.
Welcome back to Enterrupt KC, the podcast dedicated to people, places, and things right here in Kansas City. I'm your man D-Rod, my boy JL. What's up, JL?
What's good, man? What's good?
Oh, nothing, man. Just, man.
I picked this up like I was going to drink it, but then I saw you pick that up, so I'm going to pick this up.
We got to try this little thing here,
We
man.
do, but then we got to try it again once we interrupt our guests.
Yeah.
But listen, so she said, hang on, what'd you say? Do what now?
With the mezcal?
Yeah.
Oh, no, this ain't the mezcal.
Oh, no, what is this? Just tequila?
This is some coffee tequila, some stuff that I found down south, man.
Okay, well, salute,
so
man.
we'll just do a little something, okay?
Salute,
we'll do a little try it.
Okay.
It's good.
I also want to do one real quick. Grab your glass again, D-Rod, because the only thing I really want to say is, man, we hit a milestone with the podcast.
We did.
We hit a milestone, and want to say thank you
For sure, man.
number one, all the people following on social media. You know, we've been climbing. It's so great to see the community, the city, social people on social media just support, connect with us, follow us, interact with us, share the content, like the content. But on YouTube specifically, D-Rod, we surpassed 500 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah,
so,
500, man.
Salute, man. Salute to all of our subscribers, man. 500. This is to you.
Keep on watching, man. We got a lot more stuff coming up. Thank you for supporting.
Man, and it's a click of a button to support. So just hit the subscribe button. We got a great guest tonight. We got great guests coming. But D-Rod, what'd you wanna say, man?
I wanted to on a different note, I wanted to shout out all of our followers and friends and our family, man, who supported and shared us. We had a passing, in our family, and it's a sad moment,
man.
So I just wanted to show my appreciation, my gratitude for all of you people who reached out and sent your condolences, and man, it was overwhelming and it's heartfelt. Anyways, I just want to thank you, man. It was, man, I heard everybody and I felt all them hugs. So.
For sure, man, for sure.
Yeah, man. So,
D-Rod's mother.
Yeah.
My grandmother.
Yeah.
Salute to her, man. Salute to you guys. Thank you.
Rest in paradise.
Rest in paradise, Queen.
But,
I think we need to interrupt our guests.
I think we do, man. I think we do. It's about that time, man.
And by interrupt, y'all know we mean introduce our guest. None other than Cafe Ollama's own Lesley Reyes. How we doing, Lesley?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Thank you for making the time. You are a busy person. And you had a baby here earlier. You were helping out.
Yes, I did.
So, new baby?
He's 6 months now.
Oh, wow. Is it the first?
No, the second. Yeah, so a 6-year-old and a 6-month-old.
Nice. Keep going.
And
ahí paró.
Have more. Boy, girl.
You got one of each?
No, 2 boys.
2 boys?
Boy, mom.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Boy, mom. That's awesome. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
mean, that's got to keep you busy being a business owner, family. Right? Mm-hmm. Got to keep you busy.
Yes, I'm busy. Yeah,
for sure. Well, again, thank you for joining us here, Enterrupt KC. What we're about Lesley, is we're about really just trying to grab your story, tell your story the way you want to tell it. We know you've probably sat down with so many people and they've written about you. We've read some of those things. But this might be one of the first times people see you tell your story with a video, with some audio. Have you ever been on a podcast?
I have, yeah. I Have the Immigrant.
Okay.
But that's it.
That's it?
So.
Well, after this, I'm positive more people are going to reach out to you. Because that's usually what happens, right, D-Rod?
It has
That's usually what happens.
But
why don't you tell us, what's the backstory for you, Lesley? Like, where are you from? Talk about where you're from.
I am born and raised here in Kansas City.
Okay.
All of my mom's side of the families, they live here now in Kansas City. My mom came when she was 13. And my dad's side of the family, they are all from Guadalajara. So for me growing up, it was like, I have a big family, obviously, on my mom's side.
How big?
I got a lot. I mean, it's 7 of them.
Yeah.
So it's 6 girls, 6 tias, 1 uncle on my mom's side. But on my dad's side, it's not really that big. We're kind of smaller. But because my dad's family was always in Guadalajara, we would always go every December to Guadalajara.
Right.
So, I mean, I think fortunately for me, I did have that. So I was at least 2 times a year, I was going to Mexico. So, I have that. So
what kind of impact did that have on you as a kid? I mean, just going down to Mexico, Guadalajara. I mean, Guadalajara's it's big,
Yeah.
Big city.
It's beautiful down there.
Touristy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Talk about that. What kind of impact that have on you?
I think so. As I'm an adult now, I think more so I have realized that is what kind of sets me apart from most, I think.
In what way would you say?
I would say maybe in just like cultural recognition, even the language, like of my 3 siblings. I mean, they're probably going to hate me for this, but I speak the best Spanish.
She said the best Spanish, D-Rod.
But I went to kinder in Mexico.
Okay.
They didn't.
Okay.
So, and then even like my little brother, when he was born, I mean, obviously it was just 3 kids. So it got a little bit more difficult to go so often.
Are you the oldest of them?
I am, yeah.
That's why.
And what's their names, your brother and sister?
So my sister, her name is Stephanie. And then my brother's name is Adolfo.
Shout out Adolfo and Stephanie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and the parents, your mom, dad?
Yeah. My mom is Irma. My dad is Adolfo.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's cool. So you went down there as a kid. You felt like culturally it really impacted you, right? Influenced you?
Because for me, there was never like I don't know, growing up, like for me, there was never like a disconnect. Like I never felt not Mexican, Like if someone was like, what are you? Like, I think before I would even say a girl, I would say Mexicana. But I feel like maybe not until high school, because I went to high school in Liberty. But that's kind of when the first, like, that it really hit me, like, damn, there's no Latinos here. So,
and not just Latinos, but like culturally, like powerful.
When I graduated, there was probably like 15 black people and maybe like 5 Latinos in general. And then 1 Native American girl who was my friend.
Yeah.
And then that was that. And maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 10 Asians. So it wasn't, it was not diverse.
Did you guys start a gang in Liberty?
No. But you know what? There was always beef with me because it was like I wasn't Mexican enough for the Mexicans there.
The famous Selena movie quote.
Yeah, because it was like I was a white girl to them, and then to the white people it was like.
Right.
I'll never forget that one guy. He told me, he was like, you should just not tell people that you're Mexican. You should just tell people that you're like Italian.
Somebody told you that?
Yeah, and I was like, what? Why? And he's like, because. Or like one time I was like, yeah, but you're a cool Mexican. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Right.
But I had never heard anything like that until like I was in high school, So it was different then. And so since then I was like,
well, that probably made you want to even, be more proud to show it.
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's one thing that even since then, like, I feel like it was just kind of like a struggle. But it was clear that, like, no, like, yo soy mexicana, and like, fuck you guys. You guys aren't going to tell me I'm not, you know?
Sure, yeah.
So, but since then, I don't know. I think that just kind of grew my obsession of, like, I wanted to leave Kansas City. Like, I was like, I don't want to be here. I want to graduate high school, and in college, I want to leave. And for me, it was like, I want to go to Chicago because there's a lot of Mexicanos there. So I was like, I'm trying to go to Chicago. And when I graduated in high school, the plan was I was going to go to University of Chicago. Well, I chickened out last minute because I was like, no, I don't want to leave my house, you know. So,
Don't lie, it was a boy, wasn't it?
no, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
So I didn't, and I stayed here, and I went to Maple Woods, and I did like the whole A+ thing.
Oh, yeah,
at the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, and then that's where I saw my husband again, and so then, but it was like,
What do you mean? What do you mean again? Like you bumped into him when? Like in kindergarten or first
yeah,
grade?
because his family and our family, they were family friends since we were little.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was 3 years older than me, but like he graduated in 2005 and I graduated in 2008. So, you know, at that time, that was a big difference. He didn't want nothing to do with no,
young girl.
little high school.
Hey, look, get away from her.
Yeah. So he was in Mexico at the time trying to like, you know, do his shot at playing professional soccer. And he got hurt, and that's why he came back to Kansas City. And then we both were going to Maple Woods at the time. So then I saw him again.
Okay.
But, you know, now I was 18.
Now you're
Now I was 18.
Hey, look at me now. Look at me now, boy.
And so then that happened, but it was crazy because one of like the first conversations that we had was I was like, I don't want to be here in Kansas City, I want to go to Chicago. And he's like, tight, me too. So we did, and we lived in Chicago for 6 years.
Oh, for real? Like what part of Chicago are you saying?
Look,
Pilsen?
we started up north in Evanston,
village.
and then we went from Evanston to Lincoln Park we lived in La Villita.
Okay.
It was rough over there.
Yeah.
And then
You might have had a joining gang while you was up there.
Look, it was crazy, okay? Naive me, I was like, what do you mean gangs? There's no gangs still. And my husband, Panchito, he was like, girl,
A
you...
little crazy.
He like, I can't even walk in the grocery store.
No, yeah.
They real
Well,
about
and we lived right off of California, 24th in California.
Okay.
So, like, on the other side was the
Yeah.
Latin Kings,
Yep.
and then we were on the SD side.
Yep.
Crazy, okay?
Yeah.
For 6 years you were there.
Yeah, we were in Chicago.
So then after that, what made you come back?
Well,
Got tired
after...
of all the gangs and crossing the street?
Well, after Chicago, I was like, I was a makeup artist, but at the time, like, I couldn't live off of just being a makeup artist in Chicago, and so I was bartending. But I told my husband, I was like, I want to do this shit no more. Like, I want to be a makeup artist, and I want that to be my career.
Right.
And so I was like, because he's always been in soccer. So I told him, I'm like, look for a job in LA, because I want to move to LA. And he's like, okay. And I was like, so apply, and if you get a job, we're moving. Well, within like 3 weeks, he did get a job.
Oh,
Wow.
And so we dipped.
You did
Yeah.
to LA?
Dipped out to from Chicago.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Wow.
So we left.
That's a little 9-day.
Yeah, you know what? Our best times was in LA.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
So how old were you at this point when you moved?
Let's see. So that was 2017 when we moved. So I was 27.
27. Okay.
And then in 2018, I got pregnant with my first.
Okay.
So then I had my baby in LA. And, you know, we just kind of came to the realization. We were like, we can't do this in LA
Yeah,
with the
we need
baby,
help.
the
Yeah.
fucking traffic, daycare. I was like, we
man,
can't.
shit.
And I was like, we both have to work. I cannot take a maternity leave. Like, it's, you know. So then my husband just was looking for jobs, and then he got a job at the Barça Academy in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
And
you guys picked up and went to Phoenix?
He took me kicking and screaming because I was like, I don't want to leave LA. Like, no.
Man. Phoenix is dope.
Yeah, but it's not LA.
It's not LA, right?
It's dry heat, D-Rod. That's what they say down there. It's dry
liked
heat.
because I went down there for a weekend, but
it was nice. It was.
Yeah.
But so we moved to Phoenix. I mean, obviously, it's a lot less for cost of living.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then you ended up in KC.
Yeah, because
The full circle.
my son turned 1 in Phoenix, and I was by myself, and that was rough. It was really rough. And, you know, my mom would be like, I just don't understand, like, why you can't just come back, you know? But, like, me, I was just being stubborn, and I was like, I don't want to go back. Like, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
And
Can I ask you, like, was it because of your experience with all that, like, you didn't grow up with a lot of Mexicanos?
Absolutely, that was it.
You didn't, like, you know, the liberty, like you're not Mexican enough, or
that was 100%
Mexican.
it. Yeah. And because, you know, in Chicago, like, for the first time ever, I had Latina friends. And we would go out to kick it at Latino clubs. And there was banda everywhere. And all the artists came to Chicago for concerts.
boy,
so, you know, I was like, like, finally, you know. And so for sure that was it. And then in LA, I mean, you know, same thing. We would drive down to Tijuana on weekends.
Right.
And, you know, it was definitely a different world.
Yeah.
And so for sure I was like, I don't want to go back to Kansas City though, because,
Of
you know,
that.
for that reason.
Yeah.
But being in Chicago, Panchito and I, we would always talk about how we're like, you know, it would be really cool if we just had more like Mexican coffee shops in Kansas City. And it was like, yeah. Like that was the thought, right? Yeah. But so finally when we moved back to Kansas City, it was right before COVID. So we came for Christmas.
Yeah.
2019?
We came for Christmas and we never went back.
Oh, wow.
So he's saying, because we were here for a month and then, you know, we just kind of talked and I was like, it's really fucking nice that we get to like go out on a dinner and like we have my mom, my suegra to watch the baby.
Well,
like, you know,
and
there's
they
a
wanted
break.
that baby.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, it was just kind of like, and again, my mom would be like, you have help here.
Yeah.
You have help here. And
well, just a living, right?
yeah.
Just a living.
Yeah, that too. Well, and you know, cost of living in Phoenix is pretty comparable to Kansas City,
Yeah.
but that's also what I would say too, because I would be like, okay, well, Phoenix is kind of like being in Kansas City, except we don't have any family here. So like what? And both my husband and I, we come from really big families. And so that's one topic that we would talk about a lot too, because we would be like, well, I grew up with a lot of cousins, and I know my memories of having a bunch of cousins and, you know, all the holidays and stuff. And same with him. And he's like, I don't know that I'm okay that our son is not going to have that.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we thought of it that way, I was just kind of like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. Like, we shouldn't
And that's
do
the
that.
thing, you know, when you have that, you know, I come from a huge family as well. We come from a huge family, and I try to preach that. Well, not preach it, but when I have conversations with some of my Weddle friends, man, you know, that just have one brother or none, you know, I'm like, man, that family value.
Yeah.
That we have as a culture, right?
Yeah.
That, I mean, that's a thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. And because even during that time too, I was like, man, I don't know if I want another kid. And my husband would be like, you are tripping. Like, we are definitely having another kid. We are not going to have an only child. And I'd be like, oh, I don't, you know, but yeah, because I'm very close with my sister. Very close. My brother and I were 13 years apart. And I still see him as my baby, you know? So it's, you know, everything is still like, I'm on his ass about like, well, what are you doing? You know, like, what are you doing? You know, so, but the relationship with my sister and I, it's like, she is my best friend.
Gotcha.
And that's one thing too. And so my brother, my husband has 3 brothers. It's 4 of them, all boys.
Yeah.
And same thing too. Like, they're all very close. And so that's what he would say to. He'd be like, you have to give him a sibling. You have to give him a sibling.
Yeah.
And
you gotta
so
give him another one.
You know what? I don't know. That might be where I draw the line.
Don't make the baby the middle child, all right? Yeah, middle child's getting rough, man. I mean, but, that's incredible. I mean, just talk about, like D-Rod said, that full circle, right? Getting back to Kansas City, the whole reason why you left and kind of the things you learned about, yourself and other places. Ollama, Cafe Ollama, though, like you said that started churning in Phoenix.
In Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago. Okay, in Chicago. Okay, sorry. Mm-hmm. So talk about that. So now you're back in KC. So when did all these puzzle pieces get pulled together?
So, okay. So we came for Christmas, right? We stayed. And COVID happened that March. Mm-hmm. So this building is my mom's building. Mm-hmm. And there used to be El Conejo here.
Right. Yeah, the buses, yeah.
When COVID happened, they were like, well, there's no, all transportation has stopped. Like, there's no traveling. So, we got to pack up and go. And my mom was like, holy shit, what am I going to do? And I'm like, okay, mommy, but, everybody's shut down. Right. It's not just you. It's everybody.
Yeah.
But at the time, my husband was like, this is the perfect timing to do our coffee shop. And I was like, okay, but we don't know shit about running a coffee shop or a business or what. Right. I'm more of the technical person. And my husband's like, fuck
let's
all
just jump
that.
Right in.
Yeah, he's like, we'll do it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And for me, that. I'm so analytical, and I was just like, what? We don't have money. We don't have we don't have anything. What do you mean? And I didn't even tell him yes or no. The next day, he was in here removing the fucking floor, and he's like, "We got to fix it up nice. We got to fix it." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, that vision.
I think we got something in common. What's your husband's name?
Francisco.
Uh-huh. Salud, Francisco. We need to meet this guy, man.
Yeah.
Just jump in.
I like it.
I'll see. Well, he's
probably working on another coffee spot. Ain't even told you yet.
Yeah.
No, he keeps me on my toes.
Yeah. I mean, so how do you do that though? I mean, it's thick of COVID. He's tearing up a floor. I mean, how do you resolve your how's the math work here?
Well, it didn't. The math was not mathing.
At what point did you be like, okay, well, maybe we can do this. Maybe you can do that. Was there some type of tipping point or something that it clicked for you?
I mean, do you go on YouTube and how to start a coffee shop?
What I Googled was legally, what do I need to have a coffee shop? That's what I Googled.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. And thankfully, during COVID, everything was kind of slow. So I had plenty of time. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was crazy because my husband was in here lifting up floors and sanding down the wood and restaining and shit. Meanwhile, I'm on the computer frantically okay, what do I need to do? Yeah, because I was this motherfucker he's for real. So I'm okay, where do we go from here? Yeah. So I mean, but as much as I am a technical person, I'm also very much kind of well, fucking if it doesn't work out, oh well,
I mean, you did that earlier. Earlier, you were I came home and I was we're moving to LA. Yeah. You can go get a job in LA.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
No so, I mean, a part of me, I was kind of freaking out, but then I was well, I mean, it could go well or it could not. And then, whatever, we just move on. And I think too, because during COVID, I mean, I was a makeup artist and then my husband, soccer coach. Well, both of us didn't have a job. So at that point, I was well, what do we have to lose?
Right.
Because right now we both don't have no jobs. So I hope this works.
Yeah.
And then And then, I was like, no, this has to work because we don't have a job.
It's always kind of like that too, man, within couples. And it's honestly kind of the exact same way with me and my wife. Right?
Watch out, D.
She knows. She's always the one that's like, what about the insurance? And how much is this going to be? How much is that? And I'm like, you know what? Let's just go.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
It had to be. I mean, just thinking about that, right? I mean, the stress, the anxiety, the unknown, right? I mean, you're literally going into an unknown. Most people, that's already kind of like an accepted experience, right? Mentally, when you're starting anything. I mean, we did that starting a podcast, right?
Yeah.
But doing it during COVID.
I know.
That was a scary
people
thing.
would tell us too. They'd be like, what do you mean? Because, it'd be... What do you mean you're going to open? Like, nothing's open. This is COVID. Like, we don't know when. There was a lot of uncertainty for sure. And then people would be like, this is too small for a coffee shop. And I'd be like, well. But for us, we were coming from LA and Chicago. Space is not
everything's small.
Warehouse size everywhere, you know? Or people would be like, but what about the parking? And it's like, what about the parking? Like in Chicago, there is no parking.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. Like, and so
you were kind of immune to any of that stuff.
Yeah. Like what people were bringing up, we were just kind of like, okay, like that's not what I'm thinking. Yeah. Like I'm thinking, where does one find coffee bean? Like that's where I was thinking,
right.
Well, that whole scenario of starting it and everybody being nervous for you, maybe your family, you was because of the whole COVID thing, and everybody was shut down. I mean, that's who got hurt and hit the most was a lot of those smaller business owners, family businesses, so the nervousness of doing that, man, could be overwhelming. But hey, man, shout out to your husband for coming in here and doing all that because it paid out.
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah.
What? So when you're putting the business together mentally, and then obviously physically, you're making this what you want. Did you know, or did you talk about it all, about the name or the look, the first things you wanted people to see and experience walking in here? Did you talk about that at all?
Yeah, we did. I mean, like I said, so the idea had been planted for a very long time. Did I ever think it was going to be for real? I don't know.
Sure.
Because I feel like I wouldn't have talked about it if I didn't. But I don't know, I obviously it's real now, but when we would talk about it, my husband and I mean, we would just throw stuff out. And, one thing I did always say was I wanted to feel like a casita though. Like I wanted to feel very homey. Like it should be like we're going to Abuelita's house, something like that. And I just think it's very interesting. Opening Ollama has definitely like shifted my mindset and how I think and like truly manifesting things because I would say things like that. And then it's like, who would have known that 15 years later in my mom's building, my coffee shop would look like this, like how I wanted it to look. I wanted it to look like you were in your abuelita's house. I wanted it to feel cozy and inviting.
Right.
And I think that it just kind of like all fell into place. Like we're here in the West Side. What better location could I have had? So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if the universe was waiting for me to have this, if this was meant for me. Yeah. But in these years, holy shit, we have gone through some ups and downs.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I really do feel that like this was meant to be. This was, and I feel also that my experiences as far as like being in high school and stuff and, kind of like identity, I don't want to say crisis because I don't think I ever really had a crisis with identity, but.
Well, I mean, you got to go through that phase though, right? Everybody does.
Yes.
Figuring out who you are.
Yes.
What is it you're trying to do or accomplish in life, right?
And I feel like I did have to have that though to really be certain who I was.
For sure, yeah.
But what I had always felt was there's still a lot of people that feel that way, including my own family members.
Sure.
So for me, it was just kind of like, okay, well, thankfully, I feel like I have figured it out. And so I think that I should also help other people figure that out, you know? So, like, I want to have a cute little space for Latinos to come in and, you know, see Spanish. And because even my mom would be like, okay, but the widows can't read Spanish. And I'd be like, so that's okay. They can sound it out. And she'd be like, you can't do that. And I'd be like, yes, I can. And I'm going to.
Yeah.
Shit, you know, hey, listen, there's coffee spots, and I'm just going to say it like this. My wife, she'll tell me, she used to tell me, you know, hey, go to this place and get me a blah. Listen, I don't know what language. I'm assuming it's Italian or I don't know. And this true story, D-Rod. I have video of this. I roll up to the drive-thru and I'm like, can I get a mocha choca fropa? Because I don't know, you know what I mean? It all sounds the same to me. But yeah, I mean, to your point though, right? Like, hey, we do this all the time to people. People do it to us all the time. And nobody says anything about it, right?
Well, and to me, it's like, okay, come on. Like, phonetically, you can't say chatita. Yes, you can.
Chatita.
Yeah. Yes,
right?
you can. And, like, if you can't, we going to work on it. It's okay. I'm here to help. Like, I'm so...
Well, and I think that most people that come in, that are, you know, not of our culture or people, they come in for the flavor, for the taste, for the different experience of what they're getting, you know. And man, I love it when, it's funny to make fun of people, but I do it all the time also, right? But when they come in to support you as well, and they're reoccurring, I mean, that says something for itself too, because they like what you're putting out.
Yes.
You know, and it's just giving back to what maybe something that, like you say, your experiences when you were younger, how they would say, just do this or be a different way or don't be Italian. Right. Well, look here, this is what it is. And maybe that changes some people who probably thought like that back in the day. They're like, no, I like this now, you know? I don't know. See it in a different perspective like that, right?
Yeah.
So what year did you actually open up then? Was it in 19?
No, it was 2020.
2020.
Okay. March 2020.
Wow. That was like the month they told everybody to go home.
No.
Right?
Was it?
That's when they're...
That was like
no. So then it was March 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, so that's a 5 year.
In February, so the month before we opened, that was the month that they lifted the restrictions.
Okay.
And people could like open, and remember there was the little plexiglasses that you could
6 feet away and all that shit.
Yeah.
So when you had that, and was you only limited to like 5 people to come in here? For the size and for your location, I'm just assuming it was something probably like that.
It was,
right?
yeah.
They
it
have
was
their rules and all that crazy shit.
Yes. But actually, because see, look, my husband, these 2 windows, they open up.
Oh.
And my husband was like, should I worry about nothing? We can open one here, order here, pick up over here.
Yeah.
Like, he was already like,
he was thinking about that. For instance, he was thinking about that when he was tearing up these tiles.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
He was like, yeah, that ain't nothing. Like, he was,
Man, that's dope. Yeah.
That's a good idea. I was curious, though, Lesley, like, talk about the first customers you remember coming in, like you're like this is real, like people coming in. Now I know you probably had your family and your friends and all that,
okay, right? So the health department came at 10 a.m. that morning. I'll never forget it. It was Wednesday. They were scheduled to have come the week before. They never showed up. And then that day, it was Wednesday, they came at 10 a.m. They did the whole inspection and everything. And we passed, and it was like noon by the time they left. And I remember when they gave us the paper, like, okay, you're good to go. I remember I looked at my husband and I was like, okay, so do we open tomorrow? And he's like, girl, tomorrow we're open right now. And we texted our family and we were like, we're open now. We passed the inspection. Well, within an hour, like, most of our family was here.
That's awesome.
They all came, like we got plantas and, his tia came and like gave us little decorations and stuff, so everybody was excited. But it's crazy because my sister runs our social media, and we had and she was like, we need to like hype it up, for when it opens. And she had been like posting stuff already and whatever. And she posted on her stories that day that we were now open. And we did have like 3 actual customers that were not
Family.
family.
Yeah.
And I still, when I see her, her name is Vero, and she was our first customer.
Shout out.
And I'm always like, oh, our first customer. She was our first customer.
Yeah.
But she was like our real first customer.
And she still comes in to this day.
She does.
Awesome.
Not
What's
as
her name
often, Vero. She used to work, I think, like down the street, and then she moved, because then I wouldn't see her as often. And then I saw her like a pop-up or something, and I was like, where you been? How come you? And she's like, oh, it's because I changed jobs. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yes, from time to time I still see her, and I will like at pop-ups and stuff or events, she'll come.
That's
still.
awesome.
So you did that. You opened up. You've been down here this whole time, same location.
Yeah.
And what's the address here?
523 Southwest Boulevard.
523 Southwest Boulevard. I got to ask you this, because like one of the things, you were talking about, Lesley, is, your husband's tearing up the floor trying to just start a business, start the coffee shop. And you're like, okay, where do we get coffee from? How do we do this? The names of your drinks, okay? Because you were throwing names out earlier, and I was like, oh, that sounds familiar on this list. So here's the menu that I wrote down: Café de Ollama, Café de Olla, CDMX Smog, Chatita, Mama Inés, Abuelita Lupe, Mami Gloria.
Yep.
Chocoflan and La Tia Rosa. So talk us through that. How'd that come to be? Because you had to have something before you opened, right?
Yeah. So
Each one has its own different flavor.
I mean, they're named after people.
Yeah,
They're grandmas.
Grandmas? Okay.
they're the grandmas. So Chatita and Mama Inés, they're my grandmas. And then Abuelita Lupe and Mami Gloria are Panchito's grandmas.
Okay.
Tia Rosa is Panchito's tia, but she's my mom's friend from the reason why our families met were because they were friends.
Friends, sure.
Right.
So since I was little, the story says that Tia Rosa would always be like, you need to get with Lesley.
Shout out Tia Rosa, man.
Shout out Tia Rosa.
She saw y'all playing hide and seek. And she was like, there's a lot of hiding and seeking going on.
So obviously we had to give her one.
Yeah.
But the CDMX Smog, that's our take on like a London fog.
Okay.
And
I don't even know what
What's a London fog?
So a London fog, it's British. That's it's black tea with a splash of milk.
Got you.
Okay.
Oh.
So we're in Seattle. My husband and I, we went to go visit my little brother-in-law. He was going to school there at the time. We're in Seattle, and then we went to this coffee shop, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds good." And it was called the Seattle Smog. Okay. So then I was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Well, it's a London fog with an orange peel in it." I was like, oh, that sounds good. I had it. Amazing. So I was like, damn, this shit's good. So every day that we were there, I would go back and get that.
Yeah.
And I told Panchito, I was like, Panchito, this is so good. And he's like, yeah, that's so good. So we come back, right? We're still like in construction. And he was like, he did it. He did he put an orange slice in the coffee. And then he was like, but you know what? We should make our own. And I was like, okay. And he's like, and we should do it with té de manzanilla. And I was like, okay. And then what? And he's like, and instead of coffee, we should do a café de olla. And I was like, okay. And he's like, and we're not going to do a splash of milk. He's like, we're going to like froth the milk so it could be really good. And I was like, all right. So he made it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this shit's really good. And so then he was like, okay, but we're going to name it. He's like, what are we going to name it? He's like, Ciudad de Mexico. And I was like, yeah, Ciudad de Mexico Smog. So that's where that came from. And that drink has won, like, in the pitch, it's like the must-try drink.
No way.
For 2 years. Yeah. So that is for sure the drink that I guarantee nobody else has that. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of people that have started to make a lot of the other things on the menu that we have. Yeah. But I know for fact a lot of people that know.
That's the OG here. Got you.
Mm-hmm.
I had the chatita the other day.
Chatita's good.
I came in here and I had it iced though, and it was fire.
Yeah.
I was a good husband, Lesley. I took half home or maybe to my wife. But before we keep going on that, I want to continue this conversation, man. I want to start drinking on this because I don't want to wait till the end.
Okay.
And slam this thing. Okay. By the way, this is the Boulevard beer collaboration with Cafe Ollama, Mexican Chocolato ale. Yeah, I cannot wait to drink this. So, wait till D-Rod gets his.
This is one of the coolest things we've done.
Salud to you.
Salud.
Cafe Ollama.
Gracias.
Mm-hmm.
And you said 10%. I can't wait to talk about all that. But before we get to that, let's finish this. So, is there one on here, Lesley, that you would say this is the one that really means a lot to Cafe Ollama?
Well, for sure, the Cafe de Olla. Mm-hmm. And so I'll give a quick little story on
go ahead.
Cafe de Olla. So Cafe de Olla was invented by the Adelitas, which were the women in the Mexican Revolution.
Okay.
So it dates back from then. And it's so significant because since the Mexican Revolution, that was kind of like the preferred preparation, right, of coffee in Mexico.
Right.
Panchito and I, as we saw when we would go back to Mexico, it's like slowly it was kind of going away, you know? And then it was only like in the pueblitos. And then only like on the side of the road, you could find the señoras making café de olla because then Starbucks came.
Right.
And then people only wanted Starbucks.
Yeah.
And we were like, what the hell's going on? Like, what do you mean?
Right.
And, you know, still when we go, I mean, I think just to kind of be assholes, like we'll go to restaurants and we'll be like, oh, quiero un café de olla. And they're like, café de olla? No tenemos café de olla. Oh. So for us...
you need to start getting it then.
Well, so for us, it was kind of like, we can't believe that it's going away. Yeah. And it's such a significant drink to our culture that, I mean, still, you know, when we order it and they're like, no, it's just kind of like, I can't believe like this is going away.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking, right?
Yeah. So for us, it was like, well, we're going to, like, that is going to be our house specialty and we're going to bring that shit back. And when we told my grandma in Mexico, we're like, yeah, vamos a abrir un café, and like our specialty is going to be café de olla. And she's like, café de olla? You gonna make café de olla? Like, what do you mean? Yeah. And you know, I'm pretty sure that when we first told her, she was like, oh my God, my granddaughter, like she is not thinking straight. Like, what is she thinking? And funny. We were like, no, yeah, we're going to do café de olla. And she was like, oh my God. And you know, she loves to tell people now that we have a coffee shop. She's like, even them puro café de olla.
Yeah, she letting everybody know, right?
Yeah, man. But
that's a beautiful story. Yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful reason to have that drink. I mean, just like you said, right? The cultural significance of that drink, keeping it alive. You know, are you aware of people who do that now here outside of you all?
I have seen some people, but
not like this one.
Have you tried it?
I have tried. Anytime I see it, I'm like, I'm gonna try.
Yeah. No,
it's not like ours.
You just tell them, say, hey, you know, there's a coffee spot right here. You come down here.
The thing, too, is like, it's a whole thing. So, like, you have to make the tea first. You add the coffee into that. You know, it's a whole, like, it's a 45-minute process. So, it's not really something that you can make out of the espresso machine. Right. So, I think that that's why. And also, too, like, you know, still, it makes me happy to see people come in and be like, oh, I just want my café de olla. Or like when people are like, ¿tienen café de olla? or especially if they're like older people and they're like Café de Olla. Like I know that they're probably like, oh, this girl, you know.
Yeah.
But then when they have it, they're like,
damn.
and it's great
me in my
for
childhood.
Yeah, because I see it in their face. Like it is definitely nostalgic. Yes, and so that is what we wanted, and that is what I see. And
how did you get it to as good as you have it here?
Yeah.
Like, what was that process?
How many times did it take? Like,
Panchito will tell you that
it was a one shot will kill, but
he was in Mexico one time and they stopped on the side of the road. Y una señora was making it, and she showed him how to make it, and ever since then, that's how he knew.
That's a story he's sticking to.
Yeah, and that's what he says. And
he said, "Copy and paste." We putting that up here.
But so you know, we would obviously had it in Mexico, and when we lived in Chicago, that was the first time that I had Café de Olla not in Mexico. So I was like, oh, damn, they have Café de Olla. I was like, quiero un Café de Olla, por favor. You know, so then I have it. And for me, that was definitely a nostalgic moment because I was like, oh, this reminds me of Mexico. I can't, you know, so since then, being in Chicago, I was trying to, I had this little ollita here at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's our first ollita.
Okay.
We went to Mexico. We bought one. I took it back, and then I would make my little Café de Olla in that in Chicago. And yeah, it was like, you know, trying the different spices, like what was good, what was not.
Yeah.
I found out that I don't like anise, and so I was like, so you know, we would just kind of mess around with it, and you know, and Panchito would be like, this shit's too sweet. And then I'd be like, oh, this isn't sweet enough. Like next time we'll, you know, so since then we were already kind of like playing with it.
Yeah. I think I had it in Chicago, D-Rod.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of breakfast spots have it.
There's a spot, took the wife up there a couple years ago. It's called La
Catedral?
Yes.
Yep.
Man. It's amazing spot. They have all the crucifixes and stuff when you walk in and stuff. D-Rod, you got to go.
Man, let's go.
Man, you got to be careful in the neighborhood. But it's good.
Well, I lived really close to there.
Yeah. I mean, line out the door breakfast spot.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyway, that's awesome. That's a great story and great example of what you're trying to do here at, you know, Cafe Ollama.
Yeah.
Love that.
Did you guys come up with all those ingredients on every drink like that?
Yeah, so before we could get the health inspectors out here, we had to submit our menu. And at that time, we knew we were going to have drinks, but I think we were so focused on we got to open and make money.
Yeah.
And then it was like, Panchito, we have to submit the menu for them to come. And he's like, well, okay, we'll just let's make the menu. And then he was like, but you know what? He's like, we're not going to have some shit like everybody else. Right. We need to have names to the drinks. And I was like, I love that idea. Okay. So what? And he's like,
what's the name?
So then he's like, you know, we're going back and forth. I'm like, oh, cute names for this, whatever. Right. And then he's like, you know what? He's like, we should name them after the abuelitas. And I was like, cute. I like that, you know? So, and then I was like, okay, but what? The drink though, you know, the menu. We still got to make the menu.
Like ingredients and all that.
And he's like, we, you know, based off of each abuelita, we should do whatever they like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I was like, okay. And so the first one, he was like, because my grandma's name her name is Maria del Refugio, but they call her Chata. Okay. So he was like, the chatita has to be with agua de horchata. And I was like, okay, we're going somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, but we're going to make horchata horchata, no milk. And he's like, yeah, fuck that, no, because it's not with milk. And I was like, okay, yeah. So we're like, okay, you know, we're going. And then I was like, and then we have to make one with the Coke for your Mami Gloria. Because Mami Gloria had to have a Coke up until the day she passed.
Yeah.
Like she had a little Coke in her purse. Like she had to have a Coca with her food,
That was
with her
that
meal.
real Coke too.
Yeah.
Mexico
Cane
Coke.
sugar, bro. That's
So
good
then
stuff.
I was like, all right, so we got to do that one with the Coca. And he's like,
It's all
okay.
falling in place.
And then his abuelita Lupe used to make them like the little chocomils all the time, but with the chocolate. And so then I was like, well, obviously, abuelita Lupe has to be with the chocolate abuelita.
Right.
So then, okay. And then who was left was my grandma, Mama Inés. And I was like, well, Mama Inés just drinks like café con leche. But my Mama Inés is diabetic and she loves sweet stuff. Like, we can't, she don't care.
Right.
Like, she's like, give me that cake.
Yeah.
Play way too much with me. Give me that cake.
And the frosting.
And not no small piece either.
No. And so then I was like, okay, well, the Mama Inés, like, tiene que ser dulce because, she likes her sweet. So then we did with the condensed milk, and I was like, yes, that is the one.
Man, I love that.
That's great. Do you got anything with cajeta?
Okay, so last March we started where our baristas, I make them come up with a drink.
Okay.
And they get 10% of the sales for their drink at the end of the month.
Oh, sweet.
So one of the baristas, she did do one with cajeta because people come in and they're like, you have anything with like caramel? And we always had cajeta. So basically, instead of the Mama Inés, we would just do it with cajeta.
Okay.
So we always had that available. But she's like, no, I'm going to do one like with cajeta so that people who order like caramel and stuff will, we have like a drink for that. And it went really great. And so we always had cajeta available. So, but we just do her drink if people ask for that.
Seasonal or something like that, or just randomly?
Well, it was at the time, but that's available whenever. Okay. It's just not on the permanent menu.
Oh, okay.
So like if you know, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I mean, you said that you let the baristas come up with drinks.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, is there a drink that was on the original menu that's not on there now, or did the original menu just start off with all this already? Or?
Well, it was this. So when we first opened, it was this. The chocoflan and tía rosa were not on there. Those were seasonals, and we just added them permanently.
Yeah.
But instead of those, we did have a café con leche, which we X'd that because I found that like people were like, oh, quiero un café con leche and I want it sweetened. And then it was like, okay, well then you should just be having the café de olla. You play way too much with me. So, and then we had an Americano.
Okay.
And I hate Americanos. Like, they're so gross. So then it was like... and so then, Panchito and I, we were like, what are we doing? Like, we need to take that away. Yeah. And then what we did, though, was we sourced a really, really good coffee bean so that we could just have a drip.
Okay.
And the one that we use for the drip, it's from Veracruz, and it uses a honey wash process. So once it's brewed, it has like a really smooth and like cognac-like finish. It's really tasty. So I feel like if people like their coffee like that, they're going to appreciate that drip. So then we just got rid of that shit.
JL, you know what I just heard, man? I heard Lesley transition from when she started, she was like, what the hell we gonna do here? And I'm trying to look on that. And she's just explaining about coffee and the beans and the drip. And man, how you got self-taught on your business and what you're doing and what your creations.
Yeah.
I mean, JL.
And you know what that is, D-Rod.
JL.
Do you know what that is, Leslie?
Leslie, you know what that is?
That's a salud.
That's a salud. That's a salud.
Gracias.
The way she was breaking it down,
man, she went from like anxious, not sure what we're doing, to I'm business owner. Yeah. I know what we're doing. This is it. I hate Americanos.
Yeah, I was like, we ain't doing no Americano. What are we doing here?
Yeah. Do you do food here?
So we only have quesadillas.
Just quesadillas. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because food is not something...
You hate cooking. Don't lie.
No, I love cooking.
Okay.
I don't like the business part of food.
Ah, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that Panchito's family comes from restaurants. His family is like Restaurant 101 in Kansas City. Like Abuelita Lupe opened the first Mexican restaurant here in Kansas City, which is where Fox and Pearl is right now.
Yeah.
And that's where his parents met, actually.
Wow.
And then she opened Ponax. Like, she was the cook at Ponax when they first opened.
Is that right?
Wow.
So
what was the name of that restaurant right there on the corner?
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say it was El Tapatío. I want to say that's what it was. I'd have to reconfirm
awesome,
with him.
I mean, they got that background.
History.
Yeah.
Francisco over there probably he probably putting in stoves right now. I'm not telling you.
Look here. If he look, let me tell you. So in the back we have a kitchen, right? And there's like select few customers that, you know, they get on Panchito's good graces and they'll be like, so what you cooking back there?
Yeah,
and Panchito like, oh, you know what? I made some. He loves it. And so I'm always like, Panchito, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm just about to give some little chilaquiles to so-and-so. And I'm like, okay. But he loves to cook. And he's a very good cook.
That's awesome.
He worked he was like the head, the grill master at Fuego de Chao.
Oh, okay.
Really?
So steak.
Mm-hmm.
Man. He gets down, huh?
Yes.
Man.
Yeah.
We gotta meet. We gotta meet this dude, man. Hey,
Panchito, man.
Panchito, hook us up. How many employees do you have, Lesley?
Right now, I have 8.
Eight employees. Okay. And you want to give them shout outs? All their names?
Yeah, my girls.
Let's give them shout outs.
Well, the OG is Savannah.
Savannah.
She was the first employee.
Okay.
And then it was Natalia. She's not here. She's not with us anymore. But, you know, she has to grow up and get her big girl job. But, those were my girls. They were my OGs. Yeah. They were the first ones to work. And they're right
here with you.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out there.
And then I had Citlali, which she's no longer with us anymore either. She graduated and she went back home.
Okay.
But yeah, one thing about my staff is I consider them well, a lot of them are actually family. Like they are actual bloodline family.
Sure.
But the newer girls now, they're not family, but they treat my business like if it was theirs.
Sure.
And so I am so grateful to have the staff that I do.
Right.
I feel very blessed.
Yeah, and that makes, when you have great employees and with a great owner doing a great business, I mean, the morale, the happiness of it all, seeing what they got here, seeing what you're giving and offering them. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
I like to work in a place like that.
Man. I mean, I don't know, D-Rod. Like, I came in here, and there was like 4 females back there.
Yeah.
All Latinas.
Yeah.
And,
that is a requirement. You have to speak Spanish to work here.
Yeah. So, and I didn't know if you got to be a female. I was like, that's automatic.
No, you don't have to be a female, but.
I was like, it's an automatic no for me. But no, that's just great. I mean, I think it's awesome, that kind of the backstory up until, what you have here today.
Yeah.
So you're celebrating this year would be your 4th year. You're going on your 5th year now. Mm-hmm. What's the evolution of Cafe Ollama? What do you see?
I mean, ideally, I would like to have another location.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I do and I don't, because we've been dabbling with that for the past 2 years.
You know who's all in, right?
Panchito, man.
Yes.
He's like,
he already over there. He's scoping them out.
He got 2 places.
He got a map right now. Like
but
this
that's
one.
The thing is that we go look at places, and I'm like,
well, they do.
I don't feel like this can be in Ollama,
Yeah.
And same thing with him, or like, because I remember one time we went to a place and it was brand new, and I was like, oh, this is so pretty. It has a little patio and whatever. And he goes in and he's like, but it feels too new. Like he's like, no se siente.
No homey, right?
Yeah, like he's like, no, I don't feel it here. And I'm like, you're right. I was just kind of looking if like aesthetically it was pretty,
yeah.
But I was just, and I went to college for interior design, so I am the visualizer, the decorator, and I'm like, I don't, because, I'm big on like, hey, there's nothing a little furniture and some paint can't do,
Right.
And there's been a lot of places though that I'm just like.
Well, you said it before. You said it in the beginning, right? Like how you wanted it to feel like a home.
Yes.
Right.
And when you go into a brand new building, it still smells like paint. It's not the casita that we have.
It's not.
Like our lighting right now. I mean, it's a house light.
Yeah.
Right.
The whole atmosphere, with the wood. I mean, my house, I was raised in wood all over the place.
Man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, the ambiance, right? The feeling of it. And you go to these new places like that, it's almost like you got to find some little hole in the wall.
Yeah.
But on a main road or something, right? That
you gotta go to like Northeast Kansas City or something.
Northeast or maybe Central or something.
Central,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's like, I don't know, that's just what we're running into.
Right,
so
I get it.
And I'm big on like.
Or what about like even like, I mean, I'm just asking, is there opportunity to expand this one?
There is. There is, but it's like step 1, step 2, step 3,
Yeah.
And so we're trying to do the step 2 and step 3 right now, but
Skip over one.
yeah. So I mean, yes, definitely, but also for me, I have dedicated 4 years to Ollama, and at the end of the day, I am still a makeup artist, and that is what makes me happy. And so, I talk to Panchito about this all the time, and I'm like, well, damn it, I want my beauty bar. Like, I want my...
Yeah.
And so now, now I feel invincible, because I'm like, well, shit, I opened Ollama during COVID, and like...
Go get me a beauty salon. I'm
like, with little to no resources, so I'm like, yeah, I can open a beauty bar. Like, why couldn't I have my own spot? Why would I have to pay rent somewhere,
Right.
So...
He could do that in back.
Well, yes, there's so many. Yes. But my sister does nails. She's a nail tech. And so my dream is to have our beauty bar and, do that. And yes, I do want a baby Ollama inside of my beauty bar. Right. So when you get a service done, you can order from the Ollama menu.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is available.
I was just saying, when you're saying all that, my I got these crazy visions, man. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, man, because every time you go to a barbershop or any place else, the barbershops I go to, they give you beer, they give you whatever you want, and I mean, shit, I've got drunk as of getting my damn haircut before, but I could see all that. Yeah, man, girl, you already know.
Yeah, and
Come on.
That's what I want in the future.
I think you can accomplish whatever you put your mind to. Obviously, I mean, I'll be real. Like we grew up in big families. Like we said, we have a big family. I have a big family on the other side. There's not a lot of people I know just in my family and friends circle that move big city, and then they come back and open a business, and successfully too, right?
Yeah.
You talked about, Lesley, the experience of that you're trying to create here, right? And you said earlier, I want people to feel like they're coming into grandma's house, abuelita. Mm-hmm. What is the feedback you get from your customers? What do they tell you?
That they do feel like that, and I think subconsciously before we opened, I was thinking this, but maybe I wasn't like putting 2 and 2 together. But the first week that we opened, I had a dad came in with his daughter, and he came, he ordered a Café Ollama, and he sat down on the couch with his daughter, and he was here for a little bit, and then when he was done, he came up and he said, in Spanish, he was like, thank you so much, because it's been years since I've had a Café de Olla. Wow. And he was like, and I haven't been able to go back home for a long time. And so for once, I kind of felt like I was back home.
Wow.
And you can imagine it.
Man.
I was like, oh my God, I'm so thank you. You know, and after that, it was just kind of like.
It almost like it was solidify everything you did.
Yes. And for that to happen in the first week, I was just like, okay, yeah, this is exactly why we're doing this. So
that's that why.
Mm-hmm.
That's that why,
it's beautiful.
Man. Yeah, that's that why.
That's beautiful. You talked about hardships. You said, we go through peaks and valleys, ups and downs. I do recall, was it last year? Maybe the year before, I cannot remember. You were on the news because somebody decided to break your glass out here.
Yeah.
I can imagine that was definitely a moment where you're like, geez, man. That's probably one of several challenges you've had.
Yeah.
But can you talk about that, how that impacts a small business like yours?
I think people think that if you have your own business, you're rich. But it's like, you guys, we're not rich. Sometimes we barely screw by,
Man. Come support us.
Yeah. Well, and that was a thing too, because people are like, do you guys have a GoFundMe? Like, what's your Venmo? What's your whatever? And I'm not trying to bash on anybody who does that, but like for me, that didn't feel right. That didn't feel right for me. I don't know if culturally, maybe, like we're not used to asking for money like that. Yeah. So, but when the news came and stuff, it was just kind of like, I don't feel right asking people to fix my broken window, but I was like, if you guys ever thought about coming to Ollama, can you please make it this week? Because like, I need the sales, like please come and, buy whatever, like, so, and it's crazy because a lot of people who did come that week, like they were like, we've just never heard anybody say it like that. Like, you didn't ask for money. You asked for us to come and like support your business that you could get money to pay for that.
It's kind of like you said culturally, right? Like, I mean, not trying to put any stereotypes or anything like that out there, but to me, it's, D-Rod, we've talked about this a little bit, but, and with several guests actually, but, you look at, the Latino population who you don't see many of them begging for money. You see them like, I'll work, what do you want me to do? I'll hop in your truck and go dig a ditch for you, whatever you need me to do, right? But that's kind of like what you're saying too, like don't just give it to me. Let me earn that.
I'm not going to ask for it, Just come and support.
So the communities came out and supported you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And I definitely had a lot of cries.
Yeah.
In the rest of that month.
Yeah.
Because it was just really nice to see. It's like I said it and asking just to say it and hoping that, it would happen. But the actual like outcome, it was crazy. Because even the girls working that weekend, like they were like, shit, it was so busy.
Yeah.
And, it was Panchito and I, like we were here, 3 girls were here. Like it was just crazy. Like, my mom was here, like my sister came, she helped. Like it was just.
Everybody came. Showed up,
yeah.
showed out, right?
And yeah,
that's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you, Kansas City.
Yes. Thank you, Kansas City.
Yes.
I want to retract a little bit. I know that we asked you about food. No food here, but Panchito does something over there.
By the way, what are we doing with this thing?
Yeah, well, we got
with
this right over here. We gotta drink this, and
we gotta drink that. Okay, okay.
This goes with that.
Oh, gotcha.
So we gotta kill this.
Okay.
Unless we get some other glasses.
All right, we'll drink this first, and then we'll do whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to what I was gonna ask you. One thing that we just kind of learned about coffee is the pairing. Like and we are like cigar smokers. I don't know if you partake in cigars.
No, but Panchito does.
Does he?
And right here, La Cultura.
So that's a thing too. Cigars and coffee. Right? I mean, we had some cigars and coffee. We talked to this other guy who has a cigar spot and he does coffee on the side too.
Yeah, Classic Blend. Shout out Will Harris.
Yeah, Classic Blends. Will Harris. My bad. Sorry, Will. But I don't know. You got this beauty deal going on, some nails. I mean, hey, Panchito, right? He smokes cigars. I mean, there's the expansion.
A lot of opportunity.
It can go anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Some cigars.
I mean, I think you can do whatever you want, like I said.
Look, I'm like, the ideas are here.
Yeah. Right,
I'm like,
right.
what I need is the money.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, even this
Here we go.
is like Panchito's ultimate dream. I mean, he had been talking about, like he would always also throw it out too, like, it'd be tight if we could like make our own beer, you know, like I want to have a beer like this and that and blah, blah, blah. And he'd be like, it'd be tight if we could have our own beer one day and whatever. And so when we received an email from Boulevard, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was like
Spam.
Yeah. I was
we
like,
hear this a
somebody's
lot,
trying to
by the
fuck
way.
with us.
We hear this.
I
all
was
the
like,
time.
so I'm reading and I'm like checking the email that it comes from, you know, like what's the email?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that says at boulevard.com. Yeah, I'm like, okay. So I'm reading and basically it was like, you know, we do this Brew House 1 series and where we collaborate with local businesses, and your guys' name was brought up in our meeting a lot. So we would like to, if you guys are interested, we would like to have a meeting with you guys so we can discuss a possible collaboration.
Now, let's give a time frame to this. Was this a year ago? 6 months ago?
Yes, it was a year ago.
A year ago, okay.
And so I read it 3 times. And then I was like, Panchito, have you checked the email? He's like, no, why? What happened? And I'm like, did you see the email from Boulevard? And he's like, what? I'm like, read it. So then he doesn't say anything for like an hour. So then again, I was like, did you read the email? And he's like,
no.
he's like, yeah. He's like, so what do they want? And I was like, they want to do a collab with us. And he was like, that's tight. He's like, so when is the meeting? Yeah.
That's funny.
And so then we do the meeting. And it's crazy because, okay, so the night before we go to the meeting, Panchito's like, we're not going to tell anybody. We're not even going to tell our parents. Like, we're not going to tell them until it actually happens so it could be a surprise for everybody. And I'm like, yeah. Okay, well, later that day, like later that night, he tells my sister comes, and he's like, that they guess what? And I looked at him and I was like, we said we weren't going to tell anybody.
Oh, shit.
So he
After this.
Well, he told my sister, he told his parents, so then I told my mom, and then that was it. And I was like, but you know, we're gonna have this meeting and we'll see about what this is. And so we have the meeting, and yeah, they were basically like, well, you know, your guys' name got thrown out a lot in like possible businesses to do a collaboration with. They're like, we go to Ollama all the time, and we have the Abuelita Lupe. We love it. And so I was like, oh, okay. But in my mind, I was like, oh, they're going to want to do a Café de Olla beer, right? Because I thought,
Right,
obviously, you know. And he's like, no. I want to play off of the, I guess, the chocolate series beer that they have. I guess they do it like seasonally around Christmas time.
Okay.
And he's like, and I want to do another one, but like that, but with your guys' spin. So I was like, okay. And he's like, but for sure, I do want to use piloncillo because I think that ingredient is very like distinct to you guys. I was like, well, yeah, because that's what we use to sweeten the Café de Olla. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay. You know, I'm still sitting there in the
How many people in this meeting? 10?
4. No,
4 people?
5, including my son.
Okay.
My son went with us. I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I could not try any of the beers that they gave us. And it was Panchito and I. And
Panchito
then,
was like, I'll drink hers.
yeah, he's like, that's okay. I'll take it home. But at the time, I think I was going to have the baby like the following week. So Panchito's like, it's okay. I'll save it. We'll have it next week. And I was like, all right, bet. So, but yeah, so then we had that. And then, you know, they were like, oh, the ingredients. And, you know, I don't know. I think a lot of people don't know this, but we get our cinnamon and our piloncillo from Mexico.
Okay.
Like that's
What
coming.
What part?
From Guadalajara.
Guadalajara, okay.
Mercado de Abastos in Guadalajara.
Go.
It is coming. If it's not us, our suegros go a lot to Guadalajara and they bring it back in the suitcases.
Yeah.
And so, because it's different. The canela is different.
Oh yeah, everything is
It
different.
is. Everything.
It
Fresh.
really is.
Yeah. It's real.
Yeah.
It's real ingredients.
And I do think that is what makes the difference with the flavor.
So did you have to go through like a lot of iterations to get to this?
No,
No,
it was a one time.
one time.
We were very clear
on how to do
on what we
you
wanted, and the brewmaster Greg, he's
Nailed it.
fantastic at his job.
Shout out, Greg.
Because he's like, all right, like if we wanted a little bit of spice, like a little kick, whatever. He knew the measurements. He knew, like, he went in with a plan. We, after we gave the ingredients, he let us know, like, this is the brew day. If you guys want to come, that's the day I'm going to make the beer. Of course, Panchito wanted to go. So we were there early. And we were there while he was making it. And we tried it right before it went in to get fermented. And then people are like, what's it taste like?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, honestly, like, I tasted it before it got fermented, but I don't really, like, know for real. Like, we'll try it at the release party.
So for those that haven't had this beer, I don't even know. Like, once they sell, because
They said it was unlimited.
yeah, it's limited, right?
So they made 3,500 liters.
Yeah.
How many cases that equivalates to, I'm not really sure. What I was told was there were 5 pallets total. The release party day, they went through one whole pallet.
Wow. And that was January 31st on a Friday. I was there.
Yes.
And I probably had about, I don't know how many of these dudes, but man.
Well, we didn't even get to take home a case because they were sold out.
But they had it on tap, right?
Yeah.
At the
They
release
did have it
party.
on tap. Yes, they had it on tap. Mm-hmm.
So
And it's still on tap.
It's still on tap there. Okay. And this is at Boulevard Beer, by the way. For anybody who don't know, Boulevard Beer here in Kansas City, Missouri, right off Southwest Boulevard. You can possibly still go in there and buy a case of this, or at least four bottles.
4-pack.
The 4-pack.
Yeah, right there next to Lesley. So let's describe what we were trying to accomplish here. Describe it for everybody.
Process.
This I definitely did want Panchito to have his full, because I knew this is what,
Yeah.
He
brought it up already.
Yes, this is what he really wanted. And so I really just wanted to make sure that he had what he wanted.
Full control of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if you see, though, on the label,
I was going to ask you that.
it's an oil.
Okay.
Okay. So Ollama is short for Ollama, which is the Mesoamerican ball game.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we have a lot of graphics like at Ollama, the oil, but Panchito's like, I really want it to be an oil because that's significant to Ollama and that.
Yeah.
And so then it's like enlaced in the oil of the names of the ingredients that's in here. So chocolato is chocolate in Nahuatl. So it's chocolate, clavo, the piloncillo, canela, and chile yahualica. Chile yahualica is native to the Yahualica region in Mexico, and it's
now where is that region for people that don't know?
it's like by Nayarit in Jalisco.
Okay.
In there. It's really, really spicy.
And
really yummy.
And you said something earlier, Nahuatl?
Nahuatl chocolato.
Now, so that language is
Azteca.
Azteca. Okay. Just trying to make sure everybody knows. So they're
Yeah.
like, wait, what is this? Got you.
And so actually when we were like going back and forth on like, the graphic and all of this,
So you guys had to say in the label as well.
yes, we
Nice.
did. Yeah.
Nice.
So they were going to name it Mexican Chocolate Ale. And I was like, I was like, what if we do chocolato? Because that means chocolate in Nahuatl. And they were like, oh my God, we love that. Yeah. So I was like, okay, great. And then even if you notice, it says Series Cervecería Uno. I made them change that too. Because it's the Brew House 1 series.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, put that in Spanish.
Hey.
So, yeah, because
And you described to them how you wanted this to
The
taste,
flavor,
or at least
well, Greg, he kind of was like, "This is my idea," and then, Panchito like would chime in, and he's like, "Okay, but I think it'd be tight if we put chile yahualica, which is just a little bit of spiciness," and. Yeah, I mean, Greg and Panchito were definitely like bouncing off of each other.
Panchito turned into a brewmaster.
man. In order to make such a huge amount,
Man.
to have the proper ingredients for the fucking barrels that damn big, for it to come out like this, man.
You know what that is,
Francisco.
man. You know what that is, Leslie.
Panchito,
You know what
man.
that is, Panchito. You know what that is, Leslie. That's a solid.
Yeah, that's a
Seriously, awesome.
I wanted to add. I wanted to add too on that night, on that 31st. I was there. Crazy crowded, man. Crazy crowded.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun, man. They had a DJ playing. They had Menace's boy.
Juan Carlos.
Yeah, Juan Carlos was there, right? But there was guys. I know people that work there.
Okay.
And they said that was the most crowded
Yay!
that it was. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
They said that they've never had a
Okay,
crowd.
so funny thing. So the week before the party, right? I was like, what's the capacity at the beer hall?
Yeah.
Because my family is about 500.
Well, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I was like, this could go one or two ways.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, max capacity is 300. And like, and
That's
I'm
my
like,
cousins.
I'm like, okay, cool. And so then, yeah, I mean, obviously we invited our whole family.
Yeah.
And then I told my mom, I was like, invite your friend, because she's a realtor. So I'm like, invite your friends. She's really close with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce people. So I was like, invite them, let them know, like, everybody.
Yeah, everybody was there.
And a lot of people were there.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were like, we have never seen it this packed.
It's
It's crazy
insane.
too, because the day before the release party, they came to give me like the posters, like the flyer that it was happening. And she was just like, well, so then I was like, how much did we make again? Because like, how soon do you think we'll sell out? And she's like, well, she's like, I mean, I don't know. Now I'm kind of second guessing it, because do you think we're going to run out? And I was like, well, I mean, if we sell out, we sell out. And she's like, well, usually it lasts about a year. And I was like,
Let me tell you something. 10% ale? No, it ain't lasting a year.
I was like, look here, I don't know, but I know it will not be here next year.
Yeah.
This is what their taps are doing right now.
Yeah.
Just like that. Well, look at that.
Well, and they ran out of a keg that night.
Yeah.
They had to
Yeah,
go
they
get
did.
another
I think
keg.
a couple of times.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, so look, I came home and it was just like I sank in the couch and I was just like, oh wow. Like
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Just the turnout, right? I mean, the feelings that you and your husband and your family must have had for
Yes.
that accomplishment, for this Kansas City beer.
I know.
Right? For this Kansas City
I know,
OG
I know.
place
Yeah.
to pick you to do that.
Wow.
You man.
And y'all are almost neighbors. I mean,
I know,
they're right around the
I
corner,
know.
right?
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Shout out Boulevard Beer.
out.
Yeah,
Man.
thank you, Boulevard.
Shout out Boulevard Beer.
Yeah.
I got to ask this question, though. So how does it work? And I don't want to know details, but like, do y'all get a percentage of sales?
We
or
do not.
Okay. I
We
just
do
was
not.
curious, how that works.
However, though, I mean, plan con maña. I was thinking, I was like, okay, if we do really well and this sells out, and like obviously they'll see that there's a market for this, like they'll want to do it again.
Do it again.
And
Do it
then
again.
and then we can talk,
Yeah.
So I hope.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
We've been pretty fortunate. We had another local here, Juan Moya, right? That
Yeah.
collabed with them, and he did
The art,
a
yeah.
artwork on one of the Dia for Dia de los Muertos, right? So I mean, they're reaching out
Yeah.
here to
Yes.
the community here.
And I feel
We need them
like
to do Enterrupt
Yes.
KC beer. It's probably gonna need to be like a 15%.
Yeah. Put some headphones on it.
Let's go. Come on.
That'd be cool.
That's awesome.
That'd be cool.
So you go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
I'm thinking that, yeah, they're definitely reaching out into the community, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm happy for it.
For sure. I mean, we need to get somebody from Boulevard Beer to come talk about Boulevard Beer on the podcast.
Yes.
That's a goal of ours. Hopefully we do it there in the future. So this past year, you've had a number of celebrations outside of just this excellent beer that we just tasted, which I'm going to try another one here later. KC Chamber Small Business Superstar, the Greater Kansas City Chamber, and then Hispanic Chamber Best Small Business Award.
Yes.
You know, hearing the story, Lesley, that you shared, that you talked about, just kind of like going from, oh shit, what are we going to do? Your mom's like, I don't know, like, what am I going to do?
Well, even before that,
yeah.
just the culture deal to what you've created. Sorry to cut you off.
No. I'm just saying, like, you know, then you were thinking about, you and Francisco thinking about a coffee spot in Chicago, right? Fast forward to 2025 into 2024. How do you feel? What do you think? You
know, the second year that we were like in business, I told myself that I had to stop like just going, and I'm like, I really need to like stop bushing and like really, really acknowledge my blessings. And I need to feel proud about myself, because I was coming to a point where I was just like so overwhelmed with the new business, and, you know, my health was suffering at that time. So, and I was just like, what in the hell am I really doing? Like, I should be so proud of myself. Like, I have accomplished so many things, and I haven't even like stopped to think about everything that
appreciated.
Yeah. And so I told myself that I would do that, and I didn't. But last year, you know, slowly I was pregnant. So when I became pregnant, I was like, okay,
relax.
I'm pregnant now. So like, I don't care about nothing. And that's really when I started to just kind of take everything in that had happened. And then it's crazy, because then I get that phone call of, you know, shortly after I had the baby, that we won Best Small Business of the Year. And I was like,
yeah.
you know,
another moment sitting on the sofa.
Yes. So,
wow.
I just,
the hard work and the time, the commitment, the love of what you're doing.
Yes.
The support.
Yes. And I think that is like, it's still kind of crazy to me, the support that we do receive.
Right.
And even just, you know, when people want to do stuff with us, it's like, thank you for thinking we're so cool to want to like do something with us, you know?
It seems like it's surreal. Like, man,
it really is. Like, it really is. Like being there at the release party for Boulevard, it was just kind of like, that's my beer on. And it was crazy because so they gave us like these tickets, right, to like go and get like the free pours or whatever.
Yeah.
And the bartender was like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't do it for like the beer for today. It could be on for the other ones. And I was like, but it's my beer. And she was like,
what you mean?
What? And I was like, it's my beer. Like I own Ollama. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I'll give it to you, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like hard for me to say that, you know, but and even Panchito, he paid because he didn't say it.
Right.
He's like, oh, okay, I'll just, can I get two? And then his brother was like, what are you doing? Yeah. And he's like, he's the owner of Ollama, you know? And so I don't know. It's still,
that's the humble, modest, right?
It's still kind of like, I don't know. It's a little.
Well, listen.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is.
I think what you guys have accomplished. I mean, you know, we hear, you know, we wanted to reach out to you guys because it's beautiful. You know, you've been here now. You're part of the city. You're part of the fabric. You know,
Yeah.
the fabric of Southwest Boulevard, fabric of the West Side, like you said.
The transition. You know,
Absolutely,
the city,
absolutely.
The building, the growth.
And like you said earlier, man, a lot of people probably remember the bus, you know, the business that was here and is gone, and now they see this. It's beautiful, Lesley. Congratulations on all your success, and we wish you many, many, many more years of success.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see what the future holds for Cafe Ollama.
I know.
Do you plan on having any, like, do you do any type of seasonal additions to your menu?
Yes. So every month we try to have something for that month.
Okay.
Right now we still have like the Valentine's Day menu, which is really popular.
Yeah.
And then next month we're gonna do like an alcohol-free series. So I'm gonna do like a café con ron and a Cuba Libre and a mojito,
okay.
but it'll be alcohol-free rum.
Okay. Do you do anything with alcohol?
No, just because of the licensing.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
But
if I brought my own little bottle,
But look, I was a bartender for some years, so like you know, I know.
And the reason I ask about the menu is because I love champorado.
We do that in December.
Do you really?
November. So come like Dia de Muertos. We're starting
It's
in
hard
October probably.
It's hard to find.
Yeah.
That's one of
Mine's
those
good
things,
too.
I believe it, and I'm gonna come.
Mine's good.
I won't come before that, but I'm gonna come for that. I promise you.
I
Okay.
like tahine. I'm waiting for somebody to do something with some tahine or something on it.
Well,
Yeah, like some
oh,
spicy.
with coffee? Because in the summer
I don't know,
we
give it
do
some
the
thought, create
sodas.
something.
I don't know, man. You like the cold coffee.
I like all of it.
cold coffee.
Cold, hot. Right now it's warm. I'll take cold. You know. By the way, before we work toward this wrap up, we need to try whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, I want to do something with this before
let
we
me
just
get-
let this
let me
sit.
get-
Before we just let this sit here. So what is this, D? What is this, D. Rod?
This is just a mezcal.
Mezcal? Okay, mezcal. And Lesley gave us. Describe this, Lesley. What are we doing?
It's sal de gusano and orange slice.
Okay. So what do? Do I tap the orange on the salt and?
There's already some on it, on your
Okay.
little orange. But
Okay.
yeah, you can tap it again.
Okay.
Do you need some of this?
No, I'm okay. I still have my...
All right. So we drink this and then bite that. Is that
Yeah, or you could do it first
can
and
buy
then...
it
first? Let's do it first. I ain't never done that backward, or it's probably not backwards, probably rightward, forward. I'm gonna tap that. I'm gonna tap that, D-Rod.
Tap that.
Tap that.
All right,
and then you know,
bite and sip.
and then we bite this, right? Bite.
But don't bite the whole thing. Just a
bite-
little piece.
Yeah, just
at
a little,
piece, right?
like-
Just
Chupadita.
and that's tahini.
It's sal de gusano.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You did say that.
No. But it's
Hey, you know
actual...
what's that
yeah, it's
10%?
better.
Now,
I know.
Tell us about this. How did this?
The sal de gusano, it's from Oaxaca. We bought it in Oaxaca. We just went in November.
I'm doing it again.
And like mezcal, I don't really know a lot about it because, you know, we're Guadalajara folk. So tequila, yeah.
Mezcal is what?
Tequila, I know.
Southern?
I'll bring some.
No,
Well, it's, I mean, originated in the Oaxaca region.
that's
Over there.
Southern.
That's good.
That's really good. Holy crap! Oh, that mezcal is good. Oh man, that's a unique twist to what mezcal I'm used to. How I'm used to having it.
But in Oaxaca, like you go, I mean, they have little mezcal tastings everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
In El Centro, yeah.
What part of Oaxaca are you from? Or
No, I visited Oaxaca.
oh, Oaxaca.
Beautiful. If anybody's thinking about it, oh my God.
Yeah.
When we went, I'm like,
Is it real touristy down there?
Why did it? No.
Oh, that is beautiful. Then.
I'm like, why did we take so long to go here? Like,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Clean.
clean, good food.
There's art everywhere. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like
So it's colorful. Everything's
yes,
colorful.
everybody holds like the culinary up to a good standard. So it does not matter where you eat, it will be good.
Really?
Yeah.
Street food and restaurant food. Man.
Okay, I want to touch on something else too down here where we're at our location. All right, we're coming into March. Right, First Fridays. Do you partake in any of that celebrations here?
We used to when we first opened. But then, it just got to be too much.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back because what it means to me is First Fridays means I get to support young, local Latino artists. So when I first opened, that's what it was like. Right. And fortunately, all of our artists of the month that we did have, it was like their first show, the first time they've ever done that, the first painting they've ever sold.
Right.
So then it was like, no, that is what we have to do. Like, we were given a platform to be able to
help showcase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if I think, because I'm very artsy, that runs in my blood. But I think that if I would have had a platform like that, maybe when I was a lot younger, I don't know, maybe I would have pursued that.
Some artistic.
Yeah.
Canvas there. Well, you do it to people's faces.
Yes, I do. So I didn't strive far, right? But I'm just saying that if I was given the opportunity, maybe to showcase my art, I don't know where my career would have swerved to.
I love the fact that you. Shout out our boy Dink and Psych because they did a little mural back in the back.
Dink's my brother-in-law.
Dink?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Man.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. He's
Shout
my
out
brother-in-law.
Dink, man.
Yeah, my sister Stephanie.
Hey.
That's his.
We had Dink on the podcast.
Dink is dope, man.
I know.
We love that conversation. Yeah. Go check out that episode. Awesome. So let's do some different topic questions real quick as we wrap this up, Lesley. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
Your personal favorite drink and why?
Here at Ollama?
Yes.
Okay, hot Café de Olla.
Okay. You kind of already explained the why, right?
Yeah. And honestly, if it's before 10 a.m., it has to be Café de Olla.
Yeah.
If
Wakes you up?
Yeah.
Really?
But if it's after 10 a.m., I don't want hot anymore. I want iced.
That chatita ice was fire.
And so then, usually, what I do is I'll do the Café de Olla cold brew mixed with the horchata. And that's called the Sumaya, which is my niece, Dink's daughter.
All right. Hey, that's not on the menu.
That is not on the menu.
Hang on. We're writing this down.
Outside
the
of the
hidden
menu?
menu.
Yeah, we need Francisco's food menu because I heard chilaquiles earlier.
Hey, anything, man. I'll let him get down.
That's what's up.
I want that cajeta.
So we know the hot, we know the cold. Okay. Your personal favorite adult beverage and why? You said you were a bartender.
I like champagne.
Champagne?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any certain one?
You popping bottles?
Have you had that high dollar shit?
Yeah, if it's
a special occasion, what are you sipping on? Okay, if it's a special occasion, strawberries in it and all that.
No, I don't do that. No, but if it's a special occasion, people who know me, they'll gift me a Moet Rosé, which is my favorite, but that's rosé. And if not, I like the
champagne.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I like champagne, but. If they're gifting me, it's Moet Rosé.
Back in the day, our bartender as well. Back in the day, and I used to get back in Sam's Club times.
Yeah,
they used to sell Dom Perignon there. I used to go grab them and I'd sell them. Remember that?
That's funny.
Behind my bar.
Yeah.
Dom Perignon, man, that was one of the.
That's really good,
ones.
But that's expensive.
Yeah. Well, again, this was back in the day.
Yeah.
So at brunch, you're doing the what is the
mimosas?
Mimosas. Or no, you just you know what? Just give me the champagne.
I just want the champagne. Yeah.
Hey,
I like the bubbly. I do.
Let's go. I love that. All right. Copa de Calle.
Yeah.
You got a flyer right behind you. Can you grab one to show everybody for us? Talk about that. What is this? How did it come about? What's going to happen with Copa de Calle?
Copa de Calle. So Panchito's Panchito. Panchito helped found Rogoku Soccer Academy.
Okay.
So his background is in soccer. And Rogoku Soccer Academy, it's a private school. And so, but the thing about that is it is really for anybody who strives to be a professional soccer player. Okay, so they train 2 times a day, like that is part of their school, and then they have their school curriculum during the day. But Copa de Calle is made by Rogoku Soccer Academy, and some businesses we have also, just kind of paired up to kind of get this up and going, and definitely in preparation for the World Cup. But we hope for this to eventually be a nationwide thing.
Okay.
A lot of people want to come, but it's just a street soccer tennis.
Street soccer. Yeah. Is it like teams, and how many teams? Or?
So it's as many teams that want to sign up, but it's just 2 people. So teams of 2. There are grand prizes. And there's 2 categories. So there's the the adults is for 16 and up, and then the little kids is 10 to 15.
Okay.
They're not really little kids, but.
And where is it taking place at again?
So it's our vision is for it all to be along the streetcar, so it'll be easy access transportation wise, but we want to use the whole city. So it will start at the city market, and then just kind of
keep moving around.
Keep moving, yeah. So we do. So for sure, what we have established is City Market, and then at Maid Mob, and we're hoping maybe Union Station, Liberty Memorial. We're trying to see if we can do that.
Okay.
Finish up there or something.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
So registration is open if you guys want to sign up.
Yeah.
And is that the flyer on your IG handle?
Yeah.
What's your social?
Our socials are Ollama KC. We're on Facebook and Instagram. But yes, the flyer is on there. The QR code is on there, so you can register your team to sign up. And yeah, but at each court, we will have vendors there as well. I mean, it's a festival thing, and obviously to bring in money for the school.
Yeah.
But also it's just kind of like, if you got it, let's see it then.
That's right. Let's get it. Anybody interested, man, pull it up and let's go, man. Let's support that.
Come holler.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You talked earlier that you like to cook and you do all that. What's one dish, plate, papa, whatever that you are known for? They're like, man, I got this. I can do it. I'll
Chile rellenos.
No. I like to cook a lot of different things. Okay, honestly, I like to cook a lot of Asian food.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Egg drop soup or some shit like that?
Like
chicken
some
and rice.
chicken lo mein?
I mean, yeah, like pad thai. I'll do that. Some fried rice, like Korean barbecue.
Like some old goat.
You gotta walk.
I don't, but I do need to get one.
Yeah.
I did have one, but it was like cheapy, so I had to throw that out.
Okay.
But
so anything Asian, you'll throw down on that.
Yeah, but I like.
I was thinking
I'm
she
like
was
a
gonna be
made
like,
from
you know,
scratch.
Hey, I'm got some huevos rancheros. I was thinking,
I was waiting.
That's a Panchito stuff. Like the Mexican plates, like that's Panchito stuff.
Okay.
And like
We'll
steak, that's his his area. But like for me, so what I really like to do is like I like to make stuff from scratch. So like pasta, like we're making that pasta from scratch.
Stretching it.
Yeah, like pizzas, like we're making that dough. Like this from 2 days ago, we have to do the dough. So that's what I enjoy to do. Like I like to make.
Do you
like
have
we
a
do
favorite?
empanadas.
Do you have a
and
favorite like Italian spot here in Kansas City?
Italian spot? I don't know, because I will throw down on pasta.
Yeah.
Like ask me to do a pasta, and you will love it.
Which one that you always make then? What's your go-to? Like someone say, hey, Lesley, make something like I'm making this. I'm gonna tear it up.
I'll usually do like a creamy red sauce. With some mushrooms in it and stuff. But it depends really what my son will ask for. Like I'll ask him, I'll be like,
okay,
¿Qué tipo de salsa quieres? And then he'll be like, oh, I want, red creamy sauce, or like I want a white sauce. And so then, we'll do that. But but pasta.
That's it.
You got it.
Any kind.
That's what's up. We're doing an Italian restaurant here in the next week or so. Looking forward to that. We're gonna talk all about that. All right, let's do some Enterrupt KC, people, places, and things. That's the name of the podcast, Enterrupt KC. So what we do, Lesley, is we are going to give you two options. Okay, this versus that.
Okay,
you got to pick one and give us a reason why.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So. You want me to go first, D-Rod, or you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go first. All right, let's do places. Mm-hmm. All right, oceans of fun or worlds of fun?
Worlds of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's where you met Panchito, or?
No.
Okay.
I like roller coasters.
You do?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Which one?
Thrill seeker, I
or?
am. I like the Timberwolf. When people be like, oh, my back hurts. I'll be like, yeah, I kind of like that.
She said, I kind of like that.
I like the Mamba.
Yeah.
I like roller coasters.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to do some places.
Okay.
You talked about Italian food, pasta. Mm-hmm. Maybe you go to these places. I know you make it, but do you go to Garozzo's or do you go to Cascone's?
Well, I'll tell you what. Since moving back to Kansas City, I haven't been to either one of them. But we would go to Cascone's more than Garozzo's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cascone's is good.
Cascone's, the chicken limonada.
Yeah, man. The chicken limonada is, it's fire. The stuffed artichoke, the seafood artichoke.
You know what I learned when I moved to Chicago? That chicken spadini was not like Italian. That's a Kansas City thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, that's why Michael Garozzo says this is where chicken spadini was made.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that till I moved to Chicago, and I'm like, you guys don't have you guys don't make like chicken spadini? And they're like, what?
What's that?
Yeah, and I was like, what? And Panchito was the one who told me, because he did used to work at Mshama's and they're Italian, and he's like, that shit is just Kansas City, and I was like, how do you know that? And he's like, I know. He's like, it's just Kansas City, and
That's
I'm like,
hilarious.
Man, we gotta talk about you.
Man, that was good. All right, another place, restaurant, food. Hope you like hamburgers. Town Topic versus Westport Flea Market.
Town Topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you ordering there?
It's just simple.
Simple. Mm-hmm. Cheeseburger, fries, shake, Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Something
it takes forever, but it's
does.
worth it.
It didn't used to. Places change quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I want to switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a different food thing.
Yeah.
I like
I know.
the food deal.
Yeah.
So this is all in regards to Panchito.
Uh-huh.
All right, because we talked about, we hear about him. So I'm gonna do this. You pick which one you like, no matter what.
Okay.
Right? Do you like chilaquiles or chorizo con huevo?
Chilaquiles.
Okay. Caldo de res, caldo de pollo.
Oh, I like both of them.
Really?
You like one more
I
than
do
the
like
other.
both of them.
Which one's is his though? Both of them?
He'll say caldo de res. I think I'll say caldo de pollo.
Okay. What about Paloma Michelada?
Oh, paloma.
Paloma? Okay, menudo versus pozole.
Pozole.
My girl.
Come on, man.
My girl.
Okay, torta versus gorditas.
Oh, no, torta.
Torta?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, frijoles charros versus elotes.
Oh, frijoles charros.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, empanadas versus churros.
Neither.
No?
Neither.
Okay, enchiladas versus tostadas de tinga.
Oh, shit. I like tinga a lot.
I do,
But I
too.
do like enchiladas.
Come on.
Look, I really don't make enchiladas like that. I do make tinga a lot.
Panchito, eh?
He
Does he
don't.
make 'em both?
No, he don't make those.
He's like, give me that thing.
But I think I'll say tinga.
Okay, here we go. This is, you already know where I'm at with this one. Champorado versus atole.
I like champurrado.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Mole con pollo, arroz con pollo.
Mole con pollo.
Okay, tequila versus mezcal.
Tequila.
There we go, man. There we
That's
go.
what's up. Man, she ran through that.
Yeah.
So, D-Rod and I have a thing. Menudo, pozole. Pozole just dominated
It always
menudo at this
dominates.
time. I mean, I don't know what's going on.
I make a good pozole. I
Do
will
you?
say that. Yes, I do.
Okay, do you know the origin of pozole? I told this man
I
that.
don't,
You
no.
don't? All right, you ready for a history lesson?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, here we
I
go.
love
history
these.
lesson. Anybody that knows
This is going to be good.
All right. Pozole was originated back in the Aztec days, right? We
Okay,
know
okay.
that. All right, the Lotanis, which was the emperors back then, was cannibalism.
Okay.
They would fucking eat people. And
Mm-hmm.
that was what the meat was. They fucking eat ass, pozole. You can pull it up. It's all over fucking everywhere.
That's why it's so
I
good,
believe it.
man.
Eating ass, huh? But so the Spaniards came and they changed it, turned it into chicken and everything else.
Yeah.
But so then the rumor was that the emperors, whenever they cut off their right arms or right side, because that was the most dominant part of the people that would eat, was the body, was the strength of that side, so they cook it and eat it.
So,
Pozole.
yeah, pozole. I don't care about any of that. I still love it. I eat it
I do
10
love-
times more than menudo.
In Chicago, there's this place. It's a pozoleria, and they have like you sit down.
What's the name of it?
I forgot what it is.
I'm going to hit you up because I'm going to
but-
Chicago this year.
Yeah, but it's like rojo, verde, o blanco.
Oh.
Never in my life, and they're open till like 5 a.m. and it was just the best shit ever. Because I would
Did
be
you
like,
try each
oh,
one?
Yeah.
I grew up
And
on
then it was
Blanco.
like, what am I going to order today? You know, because
Yeah.
we would go and Panchito would be like, which one are you going to order today? And I'd be like, I don't know. Should I do the verde or should I do the red today?
Yeah.
Or should I do the blanco?
Yeah, I grew up on Blanco, but now I eat red. Wifey makes amazing pozole. Shout out. All right, so real quick, you drive around Kansas City?
Yeah.
Okay, worst intersection in Kansas City.
Ooh.
Worst intersection you hate. You're like, I know I got to go through here. I hate it.
But you know what? I don't really drive a lot like that.
Yeah?
Like I'm in this.
Yeah, there's some around
It's
here.
my little
Don't
area.
worry.
I think what road I don't like.
There you go.
Okay, I'll say what road I don't like to drive on
Okay.
is Ward Parkway. But like after you get
Past the plaza?
yeah, because I go to Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
But like after I pass the plaza, I do not like to drive Ward Parkway.
there's a lot of potholes right there.
Yeah, I've popped a tire there. So every time I go past the place that I popped the tire, I'm like, fuck, please, they
not
got
going this way no
yeah,
more.
I'm just pissed, you know. So I'm like, "Gah." Yeah, I don't like to. I don't know. I don't like
Nah,
to
it's all
drive
good.
that path. Like,
Hey, I know, man, because so I used to go down State Line anytime I was going south down there, but that became hell.
I really
because
don't like to drive
the
state
traffic.
line either.
Yeah, no.
So I was like, let me start doing Ward Parkway.
there's so many
and now
hills,
I'm
yeah.
dodging potholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're throwing potholes at me when I go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, Lesley, JL's got one more question for
Okay.
you. All right. But before that,
go ahead.
is there anything else
Anything
you'd
else?
like to share? Anything else you'd like to share with us and our audience, man, before we wrap this up that you want to tell?
I'm trying to think if anything. I don't know.
If not, it's all
Yeah,
good.
it's all good.
Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't have any more cool things coming up.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, listen, Lesley, this has been an incredible conversation. So
you.
good getting to know you. I mean, just
For sure.
met you years
Thank
ago,
you,
but
thank
now we
you.
really know you. And like we said earlier, man, we wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
and you'll see us in here. One
yeah.
thing about D-Rod and I, man, we support people who support us.
Thank
You
you.
will definitely see us in
100%.
here, coming in here with our wifeys, ordering. I'm going to hit up that chatita again and the Café de Olla, by the way.
I told my daughters just this past weekend, man, that I was like, I got a place that we got to go to. And unfortunately, shit went everywhere. We had to go everywhere else or whatever. So, but I will, I
Yeah,
promise you.
we
I
will.
be here to support you.
Thank
with
you.
that,
Thank
though,
you.
tell us you're from KC without telling us you're from KC.
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Hey,
That's it.
man, I've been taking it for the last 2 weeks, man. I ain't even gonna lie, man.
You know what? But whatever. Like, look here. What I tell people, I'm like, the Chiefs are doing great, but like, we've been here when they weren't doing great.
For sure, yeah.
And like, by law, you must, and that's just one thing that we have told our son, like, no. Your team is your team through the good and the bad.
Oh, yeah.
So that's okay.
Don't be talking smack on
Yeah,
them
there's
and
another
them.
season.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't forget we did go to the Super Bowl.
Man, and let me tell you something. And I don't know how old you are, but you know, I'm up in my 40s now. I grew up with the sorry ass Chiefs, like,
For sure.
You know, so
absolutely.
you can't tell me nothing. I remember the years
I'm
we had
like,
horrible
man,
coaches,
no.
horrible quarterbacks, horrible players, and I still rooted my ass off for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We
Like,
said there's always next year at that time.
at that time.
And you know what? We said again. You know what? Wait, because shit's gonna come back in full force.
Yeah. With that, thank you, Lesley. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
We
you.
hope you
Yes.
enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you for your time.
Like, follow, share, subscribe. Come holler at our girl Lesley here at
Come
Cafe
down
here.
Ollama,
Get that
right
Cafe
here at
Ollama.
Southwest Boulevard, everybody. Peace. We out of here.
Bye.